Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Lord Scuba Cabras, Somewhat Supernatural. And today we have a very, very special episode. First and foremost, I want to say happy Friday the 13th to all of you who are, like me, in love with this day. Now, is it because of the superstition or is it because of the movie? Who knows? It's for me, it's for the movie because who doesn't love a good Friday the 13th flick? What up, Ricardo, in the chat already? What's going on, brother? We got my lovely partner right here, Ben De Leon. What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. I am just enjoying the Friday. Just got out of work and I'm chilling and I'm digging it.
Fuck yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about. So we haven't done Somewhat Supernatural in a while. I know we were supposed to do it last week and we had a whole different topic last week. I don't even remember what the hell we were going to talk about Haints. Yeah, but we went ahead and scrapped that episode and decided, hey, why not wait? Next week is Friday the 13th. And so here we are on Friday the 13th. What's up, Smiling Octopus on Twitch? What's going on, love? How's it going?
And from what I understand, this is going to be the only Friday the 13th this year.
Yes, which isn't as rare as you would think. It happens from time to time. I know a few years back there was only one Friday the 13th, but there's usually, at least two.
Yeah, I remember there being like 1 year, like it just seemed like every other month was like Friday the 13th.
I fucking wish. Smiling Octopus said she missed us, guys. Oh, did you listen to this week's episode of the Recycling Corn podcast? Recycled Corn podcast. It's out already, right?
Yes, it's already out.
That was a fun one. We had Pedro Suarez on it again. And
go check out his YouTube channel.
Yeah, check out his YouTube, but also check out Ben's podcast, man. If you're not listening to the Recycled Corn podcast, what are you doing with your life? That's where we talk about that's where we talk about real life situations. Oh shit, shout out to Anthony Rivas, the owner of Wild Wolf Halloween store here in Corpus Christi, Texas, the only Halloween store in Corpus Christi and the surrounding areas. You guys be sure to check them out. They have a awesome assortment of horror merch, anything you can think of. They have clothing, they have purses, they have wallets, they have toys for your dogs, they have leashes, masks, you name it. Wild Wolf has it. Be sure to check it out. Also, I was talking to Anthony and I told him I have this idea for a commercial that I want to do for his store, right? And it's going to be strictly for, this podcast. I want to do kind of like a Captain Spaulding-esque type commercial for his store. So,
that would be freaking dope.
I'll dress up similar to Captain Spaulding and just do the whole spiel. I think we have our other guest coming in right now. Let me see if I can bring him on. Shout out to Bobby Amona before we bring on our other guest. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you my ghost hunting partner and brother, the one, the only, Joseph Rhodes. Closing them doors. What's going on, Papa? Yeah, buddy.
Ask me about my wiener.
It's nice and small.
Nice with them barn doors. Nice to have money.
What's going on, buddy?
Chilling, man. I was supposed to have my microphone here. My son took it to his friend's house because they were rapping.
Oh,
so I'm without my mic right now.
Well, you know what? It's fine, man.
Can you hear me pretty good, though?
Yeah, I can hear you good, man. We'll fix you in post. It's fine. It's whatever. We're just here to shoot the shit and talk about Friday the 13th. And also, we're going to have a Q&A later on and technically Ben's part of our team. You know what I mean? He's the backup to the backup of our team. He's a junior Ghostbuster, or I'm sorry, junior Ghost Vatos. So if you guys have any questions for us, drop them in the chat, and we're going to be answering your questions later on in the show. Anything pertaining to ghost hunts and stuff like that. What's up, DJ Jake in the chat? What's going on, brother? How's it going, man? I will see you later on tonight at work. So before we jump into the store, into what we're going to talk about today, just going to give a little roundup of what I've been up to. So I have not been up to much. I did get a brand new vehicle. What else is going on in life? It's almost the end of the year, so I'm almost out for summer vacation, which I cannot wait. Just a couple more weeks, and I will be off of work for 6 whole weeks, and I'm going to eat it up. I'm going to stream on my Twitch. we're going to do some more podcasts, and hell, I may stream every week that whole 6 weeks that I'm off, doing some episodes of Somewhat Supernatural just to catch up. So last season I did 13 episodes for the first season, and we are on, I think Joe disconnected himself. We are on episode 12 right now. I thought in my heart of hearts that this was episode 13. It would have been great. It would have been great to have this as episode 13, being that it's Friday 13th, but I didn't do that. So I fucked up. But Ben, what have you been up to, brother?
Well, we've been doing the podcast, and it's actually gotten a fair amount of success, which I'm pleasantly surprised about. Not that I don't think that we're good enough to have that success. It's just that, stuff doesn't usually work in my favor. So this is awesome, and I'm really enjoying having you on, especially having Pedro on. I think the 3-man crew is the way to go. Yeah. So I want to see if we can make that a regular thing. And
yeah, man. And it works great, man. Like, it's different doing a podcast in person than it is doing it over live like this, which, I mean, this works great. You know what I mean? Everybody has their own little setup and everything, but I think being in person, you actually get like a just more chilled vibe. We sit there, we have our food, we drink, and we don't have to be serious about anything, and that's what I love about your podcast, is that we can just shoot the shit and just talk as, 2 guys or 3 guys. We need our own radio show is what we need. We need,
definitely. And that's what I like about this podcast. And I think the more people that listen in, the more that they're going to, enjoy it. I got 5% of my listenership in Germany right now.
Awesome.
Which I don't understand, but I mean, I know there's a military base over there, so hopefully we got
maybe
soldiers listening to us. But
hell yeah,
I'm excited, like I said, because things are starting to take off, and I think it's just the magical chemical combination of me and you and Pedro sometimes, and it's just one of those perfect situations, that it just ends in a thing of beauty,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I enjoy it.
Well, man, I enjoyed it as well, man. And like I said, as long as you want to keep having me on, I'm down to be on. I know I was your first guest ever, and I'm glad now that I'm a semi co-host of the show, man. And I promote the hell out of it. Just as much as I promote the hell out of my own show, I'm promoting the hell out of the Recycled Corn podcast, because, man, like I said, it's just something great to just sit down and just be able to talk,
and I always rep you guys too, always, speaking highly, Dark Side and of your podcast and everything. And whenever anybody, you're like, oh, you're into that paranormal, like, what about this? I'm like, you know what? Go talk to the professionals. Those guys are the ones that I'm just a junior member.
Yeah.
We're professionals now.
Yeah.
Professional what? Yet to be seen.
Yeah, professional what? Yet to be seen, but So, all right. So, Joe, what have you been up to? Because it's been a while since you've been on Somewhat Supernatural. What's going on in the world, in the Rhodes world?
It's been a while. I'm gonna take this earpiece out and get an echo. But it's been a while. We're ready this weekend for another investigation up in Gainesville, Hill House Manor.
Not to be confused with the haunted Hill House in Mineral Wells.
Yeah, not to be confused with that at all. But we've heard some good things, and some other things we've heard about it, but we want to see for ourselves. Just bought a new Honda Odyssey, our new Dark Side 1.
Yeah,
so
buddy.
We'll be traveling with some comfort and plenty of space for our equipment.
Yeah, our equipment. And for Scuba's time traveling.
Showing up.
Oh, is it showing up? All right, let me go ahead and bring you off, and then once you get it set up, I will.
Gotcha.
All right. So while Joe gets that set up, we're gonna go ahead and we'll just talk about what we came to talk about. Now, today is Friday the 13th. But why is Friday the 13th considered so unlucky? Well, there's a lot of superstitions centered on Friday the 13th. People won't get married on that day, apply for jobs, won't fly on airplanes, start new projects. The list goes on and on and on and on. In the US, roughly 8% of the population has a genuine fear of the date, Friday the 13th. And that is called, and I'm going to butcher this fucking name, Paraskevidia catriophobia. That's as close as we're gonna fucking get. You want to hear the real way to pronounce it? Fucking Google it.
Google it, yeah.
So try saying that shit 5 times fast, because I couldn't even say it once. Which is honestly, it's kinds of like 2 phobias in one. So the first is the fear of the number 13, which is called triskaidekaphobia. Fuck, I don't know. Triskaidekaphobia. Look, man, I'm not a professional wordsmith, so worder. I'm not a professional worder, so
hey, you know. He is what we call easy and word with friends.
Yes. And second is the fear of Fridays, which is called being stupid. Look, we're just kidding for legal reasons.
Legal reasons.
Yeah, we're just kidding. So both of these fears started with the Christians, because 13 was the amount of people present at the Last Supper. You know, the one where Jesus broke bread and drank the wine, and then one of his boys snitched on him. Yeah. And it's speculated that Judas was the 13th member of the party to arrive. So, all right, Joseph, you ready, buddy?
Nope.
All right, so see, you call it being fashionably late, and I call it betraying the Savior, but whatever, tomato, potato, you know.
It's all the same thing.
Yeah, it's all the same. So, and all we know that the majority of Christians believe that Jesus was crucified on a Friday, hence the whole Good Friday thing. Some theologians also believe that Adam and Eve ate from the forbidden fruit on a Friday. So Friday, I mean, granted that it's not always been Friday until, you know, they decided to start naming shit and giving days. And I also heard that, you know, there's been months that they took out of the calendar that should be in this calendar that we know now, the 12 months.
Some cultures have a 13-month calendar.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what you were saying about eating the forbidden fruit, I mean, we're all guilty of a little snack here and there, you know. I mean,
yeah, you know.
Did you want to come home on a Friday and cook, or would you rather just pick up something? I mean,
that's true.
I just want to grab something and go. I mean, my feet are hurting. I've been working hard, making them dividends, you know. They're greenbacks.
Yeah, so. Get that cash, shake that money maker, girl. What's going on, Joe? What happened?
Oh, can hear that in HD.
Yeah, we're gonna hear that in fucking 4D,
which is my favorite type of D.
No, it's not. Stop lying. So, but with that, yeah, it's not that kind of. Check that out on the Recycled Corn podcast,
right?
But you know, even Noah's flood was rumored to have begun on a Friday.
Well, you got to give it a God. He always waits to the end of the week before he starts doing these things, you know. So at least you have the weekend.
And think of how shitty that is to, you know, be ready to party, and then flood. You got to
no, that's just a light drizzle. Come on.
It's cool. Little rain never hurt anybody.
Right. Next thing you know, 40 days later.
So speaking of ships, sailors would even refuse to set out on a Friday for fear that the voyage would be doomed from the start. There's a nautical legend that says the British Navy commissioned a ship called the HMS Friday in order to quell this superstition. The Navy selected a crew on a Friday, launched the ship on a Friday. Hell, they even selected a captain named James Friday as the captain. But as you know, this show is about Friday the 13th for a reason. So even with the Navy going through all this trouble to shoot down the validity of this seemingly insane superstition, the ship, HMS Friday, went and it disappeared. It's gone.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun. So we don't know what happened to it. I don't know what happened to it. Do you know what happened to it?
I'm guessing it sank
to the bottom of the ocean. Joe, buddy, are you okay? Can you hear me? Joseph, beautiful. Joe. Hello.
It's Joe and Joe.
Multiverse Joe. Oh my God, it's the multiverse of madness going
I have
on
my
right
VR goggles on right now. I'd see him in 3D.
Look at that. Doctor Strange still working here.
Multi-Joe.
All right, so my mic's not working. So,
Oh man,
damn. Ricardo said, "Damn it, Doctor Strange." So Anthony asked a question, but we're gonna save that. I'm gonna go ahead and star that for later on in the chat. That way we can answer it later on. So Ben, you want to keep going?
sure. Some historians will trace back Christian distrust of Friday to pagan religions because Friday, if you didn't know, is named after Frigg, the Norse goddess of love and sex. Which, if you're not going to have Thor's powers, this doesn't seem to be a bad alternative.
Yeah,
Special
fuck
shout
yeah.
out to God of Wine and Orgies. So
Yeah, shout out. Shout out Bacchus. Shout out. But yeah, I mean, so as we know, like Thursday is Thor's Day.
Thursday, right?
You know, so Friday named after Frigg, love and
Then
sex.
Wednesday, Morticia Adams' daughter.
So
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
No. I was gonna say, so like there's all this historical stuff going on with Friday and you know how Fridays developed and you know why people think it's such a bad number. Well, 13 especially being a bad number. So Joe, what do you think about that, man? You can't hear me? He's out. I think Joe's out. Joe, give me a thumbs up when you're ready to come back on. Technical difficulties. It is a live show, people. It is a live show, so
things will happen.
Things will happen. So, speaking of Frigg, she was a strong female figure. She posed a threat to the male-dominated Christianity. So, to fight her influence, the Christian church characterized her as a witch. And so, as you know, I mean, that's what
they do. Yeah,
that's what they do. So, vilifying the day named after her. This may have also played a part in the feat of the number 13. And I'm not saying the fear, the fear of the number 13, trick, whatever the fuck it is. The
trichophobia.
Yeah, that shit. So it was said that Frigg would join a coven of 12 witches, bring the number to 13, and that number is unholy because it signifies the gathering of 12 witches and the devil. Dun, dun, dun. We got the thumbs up from Joe.
I'm back.
All right. So before you jumped on, we were talking about how a lot of people think that 13 is an unlucky number because it leads back to the Last Supper and Judas being the 13th apostle that arrived to the supper. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm not sure. I've never heard that analogy. I know they don't have 13 floors in a hotel, like the number 13.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really researched the origin of that or anything like that. So, I couldn't speak on it really. Right. I mean, I know it's your favorite number.
It is. It's my lucky number. I mean,
and speaking of Friday the 13th, I have one of your Jason hats in the back of my car. You left it on the last investigation.
Oh, sweet. Because I was looking for it the other day and I was pissed because I was like, where the fuck is my hat?
So he's marking his territory.
Yeah, buddy. Instead of peeing over everything, I just leave my stuff there. It happens. So back to Norse mythology. So Norse mythology says that Balder, who was beloved, was killed when Loki crashed a dinner party of 12 people, making the total people in the room 13. That is why it's now said that you should never eat at a table where there are 13 seated. I don't even have 13 friends, so because the first to rise will be the first to die, which any Harry Potter.
That was stupid.
What the fuck was that? Shout out. That was a weird echo. That was another multiversal thing right there. So that is a rough history, but what does this have to do with Friday the 13th? Good question. Well, On Friday the 13th in 1306, King Philip of France had the revered knights of the Templar arrested, tortured, and even burned at the stake, forever marking this day as a time of evil. So that's when we were talking beforehand, we were talking about the Knights Templar, and so that's where that comes from, because that's what I always heard, that it had to do with like the Knights Templar. I never knew about the whole Last Supper thing, which I mean, it does make sense.
Yeah,
but I had always heard the Knights Templar thing.
I mean, I heard about the Knights Templar. So, like I said, when I was researching for this episode, and I found out about the Last Supper thing, I was like, wow, I never thought of it, but I guess it makes sense.
Yeah,
especially if Judas was the last to arrive, then yeah, I could see why they would be like, okay, well, the 13th person, is the unlucky one. So
yeah. So there have been some things that happened on Friday the 13th. Ben?
Well, on Friday the 13th, in October of 1972, a plane crashed in the Andes, killing 12 people, and the survivors were forced to resort to cannibalism, which was that movie Alive. That's what that is based on.
Yeah.
So that was a cool little fun fact. I guess you could call it fun. I don't want to know how fun it was for those people involved, but
yeah. Also, that same day in Russia, 174 people were killed when a Russian airliner crashed near Moscow. Two plane crashes, same day, Friday the 13th.
That's weird. Like I said, this is another weird coincidence. This is probably my favorite one. So in August of 2010, a 13-year-old boy in Suffolk, England, was struck by lightning. Okay, now here's the weird part. The lightning reportedly hit at 1:13, or if you go by military time, 13:13. You got a 13-year-old at 13:13 on Friday the 13th. So, I mean, that's a lot of 13s.
Yeah.
I can see why people would say it was a bad luck number. So,
did he die?
No, he actually survived. All he had was a burn, like a little scar tissue where the lightning came out of him. So I actually posted the story from the news on the Recycled Corn Podcast Facebook page. So if you want to read the story, head to my Facebook.
Yeah, look at that cross promotion right there.
Hell yeah. Woo! Shameless promotion.
Shameless plug.
So I wish Brody was here right now, because Brody could comment on this. Well, I mean, granted, it was a long time ago, but I guess it's, part of Australian history. So one particular disaster is remembered in Australia as Black Friday. Over a dozen towns were destroyed and 71 people died from uncontrollable bushfire in Victoria on Friday, January 13th, 1939. The day is memorialized as Black Friday to honor those who died. It is considered the worst bushfire in Australia's history. Over 4 million acres of land in Victoria was burnt. I don't know if where Brody's, where Brody lives in Australia, but that would have been cool if he was in the chat to give us a little, feedback on that, because that would have been pretty dope.
Yeah, on Black Friday here, we just go shopping.
Yeah, I was gonna say Black Friday here is completely different thing,
Hey, and also fun fact, January 13th was when my parents got married. They got married on Friday the 13th, January 13th.
So they went against that whole people don't get married on Friday the 13th.
They did.
Nice.
Conquers all. So
yeah. How long have they been married?
Oh my goodness, 45 years, something like that. I'm not sure.
Hell yeah, man.
That's incredible. Yeah, awesome. Tell them congratulations.
I will do.
So the murder of Susan Kitty Genovese has gone down as one of the most shocking crimes in history. Not only because it involved the rape and murder of a young girl, but because there were a lot of witnesses. The New York Times reported a total of 38. The crime occurred March 13th, 1964 in Kew Gardens, Brooklyn. Now, why does this sound familiar?
Kew Gardens?
No.
Brooklyn.
Kitty.
That's where hip hop originated, is in Brooklyn.
So the priest at the beginning of I got a notification right now that says, "Are your notifications not working?" But let me bring up
Mel.
That is Mel.
Hi, Mel.
Shout out to the Smiling Octopus on Twitch. If you guys want to check out some good mental health stuff, she does Mental Health Sundays on her her Twitch page.
I need to watch that because I need some help with my mental health.
She does really good stuff, man. Every topic's different. I know we got into the whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing. Every topic's different. I know. So,
what was that?
I don't know.
That was me talking. Echo. I turned my Twitch on, so just to see like what notifications I'm missing, because she's been commenting and it is not popping up, so I don't know. So, but like I was saying, Kitty, that whole story where people watched her get murdered and raped and nobody did anything, that is actually the priest's sermon at the beginning of Boondock Saints.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie forever. So
yeah, when he's talking about, poor Kitty just, was there and nobody helped her. This is exactly what he was talking about at the beginning of the movie, which is kind of cool little tidbit right there. I mean, not cool what happened to her, but
nice little tidbit of information.
Yeah.
Ricardo, Friday the 13th is affecting all y'all. Don't you realize that?
Yeah, man. Fuck yeah. It's happening. And isn't there that fucking like super eclipse or some shit happening this weekend also?
Oh, that'd be nice. I have not heard of it, but I don't hear about a lot of stuff. So
Jar7 said Ben put on one of the belts. He says tell Big Dog to put on one of the belts.
Which one you want to see?
So
I like the one closest to you.
The big gold. Oh, hold up one second.
So Kitty was 28 and was attacked by Winston Mosley, 29, in the middle of the road and was surrounded by apartment buildings with windows overlooking the area. No one called the police or intervened. Interviewed after the fact, the neighbors gave a myriad of excuses as to why they didn't call the police or try to stop the attacker. These included, I was tired, I didn't want to get involved, and we thought it was a lover's quarrel. The police said that based on the timeline of her attack, she escaped from him twice, but he returned to stab her twice. There was a chance for her to have been saved, but nobody jumped in to help her.
Bastards.
Yeah, so Mosley recently died in prison at the age of 81, creating a sort of closure to the case that would later become the center of many psychology classes regarding the perplexing idea of the bystander effect. So I mean, it's just weird, man. Like,
it's a long time to live in prison.
Yeah, and that's why I mean, fuck, man. You take a life, I believe eye for an eye. You know what I mean? And I guess that's why I love the movie Boondock Saints so much, is because I wish that's how the world could be. You know, not that I wish that's how the world could be, but I just feel like we'd be in a lot better place if, it was.
There was some real
eye for an eye when it comes to like, when it comes to like murderers and stuff. If you're a murderer, then there's no reason you should be sitting in prison, fucking eating up our tax money. Like,
and I also highly believe that pedophiles should be castrated.
Oh yeah, well, that's a whole other podcast. You can join us on the Recycle Point podcast, and we'll talk about that all day, every day. Yeah. So also, here's another one. On September 7th, 1996, a white Cadillac pulled up alongside rapper Tupac Shakur's car and opened fire into it. He was shot 4 times and was immediately taken to the hospital, where he quickly lost consciousness. He underwent a few surgeries and was placed in a medically induced coma. He died Friday, September 13th, 1996.
Yeah, they had to remove one of his lungs to try to save him, but it didn't work either.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Or if you're a conspiracy theorist, he's living somewhere on an island and still alive.
Machiavelli.
He's got dreadlocks.
Machiavellian this. So
there's a big conspiracy theory behind that one.
Yeah.
Check out the dude with dreadlocks.
Oh yeah.
His teeth,
I mean, we can talk about conspiracy theories. We can do a whole motherfucking episode on conspiracy theories.
I love conspiracy theories because it just makes you think,
Yeah, there's so many fucking wild conspiracies out there, man.
What's your favorite, like off the top of your head?
That we're living in a simulation.
That would be awesome, actually. Like have you? Okay, I got a theory about that theory. Okay, have you ever had those moments where you think like, okay, I just did something really stupid and I should have died, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Because there was like a time where I jumped off like this really high rock into the water, but it was like a very short, narrow area that you could safely do it, and there was rocks on either side. Well, when I went to do basically a backflip, my foot slipped, but I remember hitting the water, and then all of a sudden just like coming to, and just like I was fine, and life went on and all this stuff, and I just remember thinking like I should have died. Like
Yeah.
I shouldn't be alive right now. Like so I'm thinking maybe that was like my Matrix moment, like where I kind of woke up in a tub of goo, and they're like, "What just happened?" I was like, "I think my foot slipped." They're like, "Well, you know what? We're just
Put
gonna
it
put
back.
it back
or maybe it's like Mario Brothers. You just used up one of your lives.
in." Right?
Damn.
That
So
would
shout
explain all
out
the mushrooms I ate.
shout out on Twitch to one of our first time chatters, Mario 213342.
Speaking of
What's
Mario.
going on, Mario? Speaking of Mario, there you go. What's going on, man? Thank you for joining the podcast right now. Like I said, we will have a Q&A later on with Dark Side Paranormal, which is we're missing one guy right now. He unfortunately couldn't make it. Our buddy Mike. Remember, he said he had his he had his kids, so he wasn't going to be able to make it.
Okay.
But back to the Tupac thing. So the last words he said, according to the cop sitting next to him, were "fuck you." So, I mean, and there's a lot of speculation too. I mean, they never caught his murderer, so a lot of people think maybe the cops had something to do with it.
His murderer is dead. If you ever watch like Vlad TV or anything like that on YouTube,
Yeah.
The guy who killed him is actually, I can't think of his name right now, but it was his nephew. I'll think of it later. But yeah, but that guy he died like two years after Tupac.
Guys. Not only are we in this with Mario, we also have Luigi 2677.
Oh, hey, there's Brody.
It's Smiling Octopus's kids. It's Ezra Naki. How's it going, fellas? Oh, Brody Kane in the house. Okay, Brody, since you're here, we're talking about Friday the 13th and just some of the crazy shit that has happened on Friday the 13th. Now, I know, as we all do, and as we always say, you live in Australia. So we were talking about Black Friday in Australia that happened in Australia on Friday the 13th in 1939, January 13th, 1939. So, oh shit, Sonia's on here too. Hey, Sonia, I hope you're doing well. She has the Rona right now, so hope you're doing good, baby girl. If you need anything, let me know, and I got you.
That's Smiling Octopus is Sonia?
Yes, that's Smiling Octopus is Sonia.
Oh, I don't know you, Sonia, but we met briefly. I hope you feel better.
But yeah, Brody, do I mean, is that like still a thing? Like, is that something that is
in the
not celebrated, but do they still? So it says that there was a huge fire in Victoria. It was a huge bushfire. It's considered to be the worst bushfire in Australia history. Over 4 million acres of land was burnt. 71 people died. And this was Friday, January 13th, 1939. I just didn't know if like that is something that you guys over there like remember still, kind of like how we do like the whole 9/11 thing, not comparing the two at all, but just kind of remember the Alamo type thing that we have here in Texas. So
another weird question for Brody, because I know this is just American thing, but do you guys have a different Black Friday like we have? Like after Thanksgiving, do you guys have like a shopping day like for Christmas where everything's discounted? I know they call ours Black Friday, but
so Brody says, "Oh yeah, that's where I'm from. Fuck, I'm dumb. Yeah, I've heard of it. Now that you mention it, you're not dumb. Can't expect somebody to know everything. But no, man, I just didn't know if that's like." Mel said your vape is too loud on your end, Joseph. So
I will definitely mute my mic every time I hit my vape. Here, hold
on. So yeah, Brody, how Joe was saying, like, after Thanksgiving we have Black Friday where they have like all these deals and shit here in the States. Like, do y'all have something like that as well, like in Australia? I don't know. or is just America just that damn
sometimes I
greedy?
forget it's just America's like Thanksgiving. It's not worldwide. It's just America.
Well, one thing I've always wanted to do is get in front of a group of like a huge group of Australians and just get on a mic and go Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Just hear them go, oi, 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 oi.
So another freaky thing that happened Friday in October on the 13th in 1989, Wall Street had a mini freak out following a mini crash referred to as, once again, Black Friday. The Dow, they ever just want to keep calling everything fucking Black Friday. The Dow Jones market fell nearly 7% in one afternoon. This particular Black Friday crash is often seen as the start of the recession that occurred in the early 1990s. The market seems to have had an adverse reaction to Friday the 13th for multiple years. However, CNBC reports that there have been 5 Friday the 13th in March, and that they have been pretty negative for the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P 500 Index, according to Kensho, a quantitative analyst tool used by hedge funds. I don't know what any of that shit means because I don't know about any of that.
So basically, don't trade stocks on Friday the 13th in March.
Well, you've seen what's happening with crypto.
The stocks did good today, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, my crypto was up a little bit. My Shiba was up. My Doge was up a little bit. I'm doing cryptocurrency, and I invested in those two just because, hey, whatever. They're fucking cheap. Meme coins. They were cheap, and if they ever happen to go up, to blow up to at least a penny, or if Doge gets to $1, well, I'm gonna love it if Doge ever gets to $1. It was close. And I should have bought out, but I didn't. So Brody says we have Boxing Day sales, and that's about it, really.
Is that where you put on boxing gloves and beat the shit out of everybody?
Well, yeah, you run to the fucking store and just have matches for, that's my TV. Nah, fuck you. That's my TV.
That old lady never saw what hit her.
So that's just some of the reasons that people don't like Friday the 13th and some of the things that have happened on Friday the 13th that make it just this weird little thing that happens. But we can't finish off this list without mentioning the most popular reason that Friday the 13th is so fucking famous. Our manifested fear of Friday the 13th could easily be traced back to a movie of the same name, which was first released in 1980. Today, the film franchise has there's no near cult. It is a cult following dedicated to the murderous plot lines of the Voorhees family, mainly the king slasher himself, Jason Voorhees, which takes place over the course of 24 hours on a fictionalized Friday every single time. Well, it depends on how you look at the movies, because some people say, oh, it happens like that same day. I want to say part 3 and part 4 are supposed to happen that same day. So it's still Friday the 13th.
It's like Star Wars from a certain point of view.
Yes, Sean Cunningham, Brody, Sean Cunningham.
So what was your
so
favorite?
Brody says,
favorite one?
Hold on, before Brody says, I don't mean to keep bringing this up, but it looks like we're about to see a live performance from Aaron Lewis. I'm on the outside. No, you still look like a whiter Canelo, Joe. You do look. You resemble Canelo. Whiter Canelo.
Whiter.
Yeah, whiter. A little bit whiter.
Now you look like more like Bono right now with those glasses.
Oh, I do? Yeah, buddy. I'm okay with that. So, Dozen Film Laters, one of which even goes into space, and I don't give a shit what anybody says. I love that movie.
It was the worst one, but it was still good.
Another where he fights Freddy Krueger, the main antagonist of Nightmare on Elm Street, if you didn't know that. The series is worth $465 million, which can also be converted to an infinite amount of screams, gasps from horror enthusiasts like ourselves all over the world. And if you don't like Friday the 13th, can you really call yourself a horror fan? Of course you can, because I'm not a gatekeeper, and you like what you like, and I like what I like. And I will always say Friday the 13th, to me, it's what pulled me into the horror genre. Friday the 13th is what made my love for cosplay. I remember the very first Friday the 13th I ever saw was Friday the 13th part 6. And that was the first time that we had an undead Jason. It's the first time Jason came back, as this undead killing machine. It's not the first one I saw. It's not the first one I saw. It's the first one I saw in theaters with my dad. Yeah. So going to the theater and watching this with my dad, it was just so awesome because my mom was so against us watching horror movies. She was just like not having it. But my dad was, my dad was that cool dad. My dad was that dad that was like, don't tell your mom. And we'd go to the movies and we'd fucking just have a blast and watch these horror movies that gave me nightmares. And I had to explain to my mom why I was having nightmares. And, it didn't have nothing to do with the movie I saw. I'm just having freaky nightmares.
Right.
So Brody says, as much as he's a lover of the franchise, he's never seen the first film, only the Jason films. That's fair, Brody, because I want to say the original was the one that took me the longest to actually appreciate, because watching them as a kid, I always saw the ones with Jason. And so it took me a while to actually appreciate the first film for, the great horror classic that it is. And I know, Joe, you asked what my favorite Friday the 13th movie is. Yes. I'm going to have to go with Part 4. Part 4 is probably my favorite. We just see this monstrous Jason that just doesn't give a fuck, man. And Corey Feldman gives such a great performance at such a young age as Tommy Jarvis. And I don't know, man, that movie was just well written, well shot. The effects in it were all practical effects, and they were done just like you can't.
Was Part 4 when one part there in the cemetery and he picks up that spike and throws it at the dude and spears him in the chest? Or which one was that?
That is Part 6. That's when he comes back from the dead.
Yeah. That's the first one I ever saw, because my parents wouldn't let me watch that as a kid either. Yeah, I saw that one, and then I saw the rest of them. The one where Jason went in space, I turned off. But
I like that one only because, I mean, what other logical place can you send this monstrous thing but into space? And what I appreciate about that one even more is the comic books that followed after the movie. So there's comic books that, if you haven't read them, it continues the story of Jason after he lands on this new Earth. Well, what happens is, remember when he gets blown up and the nanobots rebuild him? Okay, well, there was still a whole bunch of pieces of him that were more meaty. So the nanobots rebuilt that Jason as well back into the way Jason should look. So we had two Jasons on this one Earth, and it was essentially Jason versus fucking Jason. Ooh, and it was a fucking brutal showdown. Uber Jason ends up winning, of course, and it's Facebook user. I don't know who that is, but Facebook user said, "Wee."
There's 5 hours. It's Zuckerberg.
So, but yeah, so it's become so popular that Jason Voorhees has become part of the zeitgeist. People know the iconic hockey mask, and they love to be scared by it. We've seen Friday the 13th movies, comics, cartoons, specials, and plays, remake after remake, fan film after fan film, and it's really incredible how far Jason's machete actually reaches into pop culture. I mean, we're talking about it on this podcast, aren't we? And as we know, I love Friday the 13th movies. I love dressing up in my Jason cosplays. I don't know, man. There's just something about Jason. I prefer him over the other slashers. I know there's people that, love Michael Myers, and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean?
Mike.
Oh, it's you, Ricardo?
Mike is Facebook.
Oh, it's Mike.
User.
How the hell is he Facebook user? What's going on? That's weird.
He just gave me up. I guess he's banned again.
Are you banned again? Mike? So yeah, so it's just awesome how, like, I mean, and when you think Friday the 13th, I go straight to the movies. I don't go to, any superstition. I don't believe that Friday the 13th is a bad day. Well, bad things happen every day. I feel like, September 23rd has as many bad things that have happened as Friday the 13th. You just got to look them up.
Nah, 23 is Michael Jordan's number. Nothing ever bad happens with that.
Bro, my brother was born on September 23rd. The worst day of my life. I became a sibling instead of an only child.
Oh, goodness.
I was thinking you were going something like, oh, he's finally revealing his vulnerable side. Like, no, I wish I was an old child.
Right? No,
Things would be so much easier.
I think my favorite one. I love Freddy versus Jason. To me,
Yes.
I love how they incorporated it. And yeah, I know you're gonna have an aneurysm right now, but I loved it, dude. It was
It's
badass.
such a fun
Kelly
movie, though.
Bolt.
I mean, it's just
No, it is. It's a fun movie. I just wish it would have taken a more serious approach to it.
Yeah, yeah. The more Freddy went on with the franchise, it got more humorous. He took on more of a, I don't want to say satire, but he had more humor in it than really just a, this killer.
Which
Like
I mean, he got kind of goofy
Joker,
there in the
yeah.
later
Oh, yeah.
films. I want to say the first maybe 2 films of Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy was this just horrifying
Yeah,
fucking thing.
killer.
But then once you get into part 3 and onward, that's when he starts cracking jokes. Which I love though. I fucking
Yeah, I
love
love
that.
it.
I just feel like they went over the top with it in Freddy versus
Emptiness
Jason. Like,
and all that. Yeah.
like, are you fucking kidding me? Fucking Freddy knows kung fu and he's fucking
Yeah.
beating the fuck out of Jake. Get the
It's a dream.
Absolutely not.
And when he was doing those little cylinders, he's
Yeah.
tapping the tops off and they're shooting
Yeah.
like rockets.
So
I'll tell you what though, the one of the most underrated of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies was Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Oh, I love that fucking movie.
That storyline, if you really pay attention to it, was really ahead of its time.
Yeah.
I think if they made that movie now, like you'd be getting like rave reviews. But people just didn't appreciate it back then because it was just too new, I think. But that's a whole other podcast. We'll get into that later.
So Smiling Octopus has this. She won't watch Nightmare on Elm Street because Freddy's a pedo, and I'm like, bro, that was only like thrown in there in the remake where they made it like in your face. He's a pedo. It was just kind of like maybe he was in the originals. You don't really know. Like maybe
they asked Robert Englund about that, and he goes, no. He goes, he was never attracted to kids. He was just attracted to killing them.
Yeah. And that's what I try to explain that to her, but she's only seen the remake, so that's why she's like, "Oh, Freddy's a pedo." No, absolutely not. So Mike says,
I stand on that.
Mike says, Freddy versus Jason. Anyone remember when Freddy was racist? Okay, so I just talked about this recently as well. He was not racist in there. He was excited that I mean, how sweet dark meat. Like, come on, that's not. My boy Freddy is not racist. Yeah.
He's like, I'll kill everybody. I could just imagine him working at a restaurant and like, welcome to Chili's, bitch.
Mike says that's what a racist would say. Shut up. So we're gonna answer. Because we pretty much touched on the Friday the 13th thing, unless you guys have anything that you've ever experienced on a Friday the 13th. But before we do change, let me ask you: are you superstitious about Friday the 13th at all, Joe?
No, not at all. I mean, it's a cool day. I like the aura around that day.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've never had anything bad happen on a Friday the 13th or anything, even with the number 13. I've never had bad luck with or anything. So, not superstition on that note.
Awesome. What about you, Ben?
Not really superstitious. I mean, I did have something bad happen to me on a Friday the 13th, but it was when I was like in middle school, I actually like had the courage to go up and talk to a girl, and she was just like, I asked her for her number, and she just kind of like put her hand on my cheek, and she was like, "Boy, you're not even old enough to shave yet." And I was like, we're the same age. Like, she's into older guys at the time, So yeah, that was like the only. It was just embarrassing. That's all it was. So
Mike says he hates Friday the 13th because Friday the 13th killed his mother and raped his father.
Damn.
Jesus Christ!
But what did it do to you?
He got to watch.
Right.
He got to watch the latter happen.
He was the one doing it.
He was Friday the 13th. So Brody says he had something bad happen to him. He spewed his KFC up in Friday the 13th last night and lost $15.
You spent $15 at KFC?
Damn.
Well, have you seen how much it costs a dozen wings at Wingstop?
Yeah, it's almost $30, man.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Dude, okay. Side note, we're talking about chicken. Okay, remember Aaliyah's birthday? We got back. We were going to go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
We walked in there. They're like, just to let you know, we don't have cheese curds, we don't have onion rings, we don't have French fries, and we don't have chicken. At Buffalo Wild Wings, no chicken.
So what the fuck were they serving?
They said they had burgers.
I
was like, man,
that's when I just turned my happy ass around and walk right out.
Oh, we did. We went to Wings and More.
Well, it was like when I went to fucking KFC the other day. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna get some fucking chicken. And I'm not one to eat KFC all the time. You know, it's not my favorite chicken place, but I was craving it. I was like, ooh, I want those 11 herbs and spices. Give it to me, baby. So I went to the one in Annabelle. They had absolutely no chicken. I pulled up and they're like, okay, what can I get you? And I was like, oh, let me get a 20 piece, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay. And she comes back on. Actually, we don't have any chicken. And I'm like no chicken at all? Like, what the fuck?
Know this?
Thanks, Biden.
So I drove away, got the kids pizza, and then I drove back because it's also Long John Silver's. So I was like, hey, by chance, I know y'all don't have any KFC chicken, but do you have Long John's chicken? And they did, and I ate it, and it was good. And then I got sick the next day. So maybe it was the chicken that fucked me up.
And we had Captain D's on our last trip, too.
Damn right we did. You remember Captain D's, Ben?
Yes.
Man.
It was not as good as I remember.
Yeah, it never is. Like we went to Houston one time to go eat at what was it, Black Eyed Pea?
Yeah,
I wanted the cornbread. Remember how good that cornbread was?
Yeah, it was good, man.
And it just wasn't the same. I don't know if they changed the recipe or people were just incompetent or whatever, but it just was not the same. And I can't find anybody here in town that makes the same cornbread as good as Black Eyed Pea back in the day.
Damn. So Smiling Octopus, I guess she's talking to me. I mean, I hope she's talking to me. She said, babe, let's get a tattoo. A Friday 13th tattoo. I've never gotten a Friday 13th tattoo. With all the tattoos that I have, I've never been one to go get a Friday 13th tattoo.
Just get a big 13th on the back of your calf or something.
Nah, hell no. That's gang stuff, ain't it?
Yeah, you're right. MS-13.
Yeah. You know, if I didn't have to work tonight, I would totally go and get a tattoo. But since I'm already taking tomorrow night off, I can't really go take the night off again. So
nice way to.
Yeah, you should get totally like a Jason mask or something tattooed somewhere.
Well, I have one Jason mask right there. You can't really see it. It's right there.
So that's a Friday the 13th tattoo.
Well, no, I know, but on the day, like you know how tattoo shops do their Friday the 13th specials. I've never gone. But so we are on to the part where I wanted to just basically talk to you guys and have the chat ask us questions about, you know, why we do what we do. So Anthony said, what got us into being a paranormal investigator? Joe, start off.
I guess it's just my experiences growing up. You know, I've seen and heard a lot of stuff that I've never been able to explain. I saw my grandpa one time, probably a year and a half after he died. And I've just always been, you know, I'm a Christian. I think I'm the only Christian in the group, unless Scuba's been saved since I last talked to him.
Look, man, I believe in God. I believe in God. I just don't believe in religion. So whatever that is, if that makes me a heretic, I mean,
no, I trust me, I'm the same way, because religion says do, like you got to do a bunch of stuff. Jesus said it's done. It is finished. Yeah. So to me, religion, I'm not with it. I have a, you know, a good relationship with Christ. So, and when I first started with, you know, I've been a Christian since 2010. Yeah, 2010. And when I first started actually paranormal investigating with you guys, when we got our group together, yeah, I was conflicted. I was like, is this a conflict of interest? You know, I'm going out hunting ghosts and I'm a Christian, but, you know, I separate the two, and I know my place. I don't cross a certain line. Like, you'll never see me with a Ouija board. You'll never see me, you know, you. But no, I mean, it was just always, I got into it because of the unknown. You know, there's something after death. As a Christian, I believe, you know, heaven, hell. But there's a lot of stuff that I've seen and heard that I cannot explain, and energy is indestructible. So once your body dies, your soul goes away. Where does all that energy go from your body? I mean, there's got to be residual stuff that sticks around.
Yeah.
And so that, yeah, it just got me, started watching all the shows, and yeah, I just started doing it, man. It's fun. It gets me out of the house, and it gets me. It's like a little mini vacation to
Yeah,
do
it's
something
bro
I love
time.
to do.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like I
I mean,
love
everybody needs that.
Yeah, I love that we actually get to go and then just hang out. And I feel like our dynamic is so great. Like the three of
Oh
us,
yeah,
when you, Mike, and I are together, like we just feed off of each other, and we can sit there and joke and talk shit to each other, and nobody gets fucking butt hurt, and
yeah,
nobody takes the other too serious. Like we go, we have fun, we do what we do, and we try to find evidence as best as we can to try to present this stuff. You know, whether it's little clips of something that we caught so fast, or something that occurred for a long period of time. you know um Ben, what I know you've only been on a couple of investigations with us, but like I said, I do consider you, like part of the team. What was your main drive to want to even come with us on one of these investigations?
Well, I mean, first off, you all are heroes to me. I look up to you not only as paranormal investigators, but as men. Your moral compass is beyond reproach, and I just want to be like you in so many different ways. I just can't grow the extra 6 inches.
Hey, I'm there with you. I'm there
I
with you.
said that Joe's got that sick ass hair, So
Oh yeah.
no, but for real, I mean, like Joe said, the unknown part of it. I'm also, I mean, I would say I am a believer in something. I to reiterate what Scuba says, I just don't know you know if and I hate to say it because I don't know another name for it, but I just don't know if Jesus is the only way to get to that salvation, because even in the Bible they talk about other gods, and the Christians say there is no other God. I'm like, but it says about other gods in the Bible, like, so it just says that God is jealous and all this. Is like, okay, there's a lot of weird stuff. So you know what? I'm just gonna simplify it, and if I'm gonna pray to anybody, it's gonna be to the main guy, and I don't think I need intermediaries to talk to the main guy.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna go and live the best life that I can. Try not to do any harm to anybody. To repent of the things that I've done, and beg for forgiveness for that. And I know that that's something that I feel that I constantly, like, if I have a bad thought, there are a lot of times where I'm like, man, I shouldn't be thinking like that. You know what? Sorry, God. And but I do want to know. I mean, because the Bible does also talk about ghosts. So okay, if the Bible is real and is the Word of God, and the Bible talks about ghosts, then why would there not actually be ghosts? There's demons and people believe in demons. Well, if there's demons, then there's a devil, and if there's devil, then there's God. So it's just a line, like, follow the logic. There has to be something out there.
Yeah.
The rules, the laws of thermodynamics, like Joe said, energy cannot be destroyed; it can only be converted. So we are energy. That's what our souls are. Or, if you look at it just from a purely scientific standpoint, we are bursts of electricity. And that's what runs this bioelectric machine. That's the whole basis for the Matrix.
Yeah.
Is we're batteries. So again, once we die, where does the energy go? And some, like Joe said, some of it has to stick around. And I want to be able to say that I was part of the small chance that we got definitive proof on camera, something that cannot be disputed, something that there's, okay, well, you know what, I can't deny this.
Yeah.
So yes, here it is. Mark it on this day that
Mhm.
we verified scientifically proof that there is something beyond the physical death. And
There'll still be doubters. There
right.
definitely will
Well,
be.
I mean, look at the
Well, yeah, there's
flat.
doubters in everything, though. I
Oh yeah,
mean,
even in the Bible, after
yeah,
Jesus came back to life and was standing in front of Thomas, he said, "It can't be you." So I
Right.
yeah,
mean, when you got somebody standing right in front of you, nah, it's not you. There's going to be
Right.
doubters.
And then he holds up his hand, and there's holes in
Yeah.
my hand.
God damn it!
What
I'm
more do
sorry.
you need?
I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
We're getting
So,
all worked up. You know what we
bro,
need? We need some Devil's River.
Oh, Devil's River.
I got generic Coke Zero.
Hey, you know what? It works.
Yeah, it's tasty.
I have a Shock energy
Salud.
drink. Salute. Cheers. So Brody says he wants to come on a ghost hunt, and I am so down to have you fucking come on a ghost hunt with us, Brody. I keep telling you, man, you get your ass to the States, you are part of Dark Side Paranormal.
Yeah.
Like,
and I already told Scuba, I was like, if Brody comes here, he's automatically my best friend. Automatically.
He did say
accent, his movie reviews, best friends forever.
Ricardo, I keep telling you too, man, if you want to go, you need to let me know. I mean, we have the Ghost Vato one now, and we're down. We always, there's some investigations where we just want to go as a team, just so that we can check it out first. And then, once we've been there, if we go back, then, we'll take other people with us. But, I'm always down to let people come, and I'm always one for, hey, the more the merrier. Joe was one of those people that wanted to come. He just started off as, hey, I want to go on a ghost hunt with you guys. And we did the Lexington, and I had to be like, hey, Mike, what do you think? What do you think of Joe for the team? And he was like, nah, we'll see. And it just,
I remember when Joe got his shirt, the presentation and all that.
So yeah, but yeah, Brody, you're more than welcome to come, man. And then you can be part of Dark Side International. Yeah, buddy.
Right. The licensing fees alone, the royalties from that, man.
The bragging rights.
So yeah, and Smiling Octopus went on our last investigation with us, and that was fucking interesting as hell. Like, she had so much activity.
She
took off. She made, man. I was proud.
You look like a female. Like, I was gonna say like a female, but she's a female.
She made me look like a bitch.
Well, she did through some stuff, man.
And here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. She is so scared playing these fucking horror video games and stuff. So I thought she was just gonna be scared. Man, she just took to it like a fish to water. I was so fucking proud of her. So I guess for me, what got me into ghost hunting, I mean, I saw a lot of stuff growing up, man. I saw a lot of crazy things. Oh, is that the wifey sauce? Hi.
Yeah. I know. Where's my plate?
Damn. So, with me, I saw a lot of crazy shit growing up, man. And so I've always felt that there's something out there. There is something out there that I can't explain. And there's something that just drove me to want to keep searching for this. And while I was in a couple of other groups here and there, they weren't really like groups that were, very well organized or anything. It was mostly friends just going ghost hunting.
Didn't feel like a team.
It was just something that pushed me. And I want to say what the last straw for me was when my dad passed away, because we would always have these conversations about how he would let me know that there's something on the other side. And if I get a little choked up, I'm sorry. I miss my dad dearly. His anniversary is coming up in a month from today.
We get it.
So we would sit there and we would always talk about, because he was sick for a long time. And we would always talk about, when he passed, and he's like, oh, well, I'll let you know that there's something here. I'm like, oh, fuck no. When you're gone, you fucking go. Like, I'll call the Ghostbusters on your ass. Like, no, fuck that. And I remember when he passed, I laughed when he passed, because he always said that he would never let me see him go. And I was like, well, if you're in the hospital or something, like, you're not going to have a choice. Like, I'm going to be there with you till you take your last breath. And he's like, no, absolutely not. You won't. It's not going to happen. And I'm like, oh, okay. So they took him off life support, and I had been up for almost 48 hours straight. They told us that as soon as we took him off of life support, he'd be gone. He lasted 2 days. So on June 13th at 3 a.m., actually it was about it was like 2:58, 2:59-ish. My grandma woke up. She was like, you need to get some rest. I'm like, no, I'm not going to get any rest. And we're there in the room with him. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take a power nap. Just let me sleep for 10 minutes and then wake me up. Put my head down. Mind you, it was 2:58, 2:59. Put my head down, close my eyes. I doze off and my grandma wakes me up immediately. She's like, mijo, he's gone. I sit up, I look at the clock, and it's 3:00, and I just start laughing. I'm laughing. And she's like, what the hell's wrong with you? Why are you laughing? I'm like, because he always told me he would not let me see him go. And he waited until
you're asleep.
I went to sleep to leave. That right there leads me to believe that he was there still.
Mm-hmm.
While his body wasn't working, he knew it was his time to go. He knew he had to go. And as soon as he knew that I was knocked out, gone. And so I was just like, all right, motherfucker, you got the last laugh, you fucker.
He did.
And so then, you know, like I said, he always told me that he would show me that there's something after. And months went by and my sister was like, oh, I see this like sparkly stuff out the corner of my eye and I can smell my dad's cologne and this and that. And I remember I was getting so pissed off because I was my dad's favorite. And I'm not just saying that because, you know, I'm being cocky. No, I was my dad's favorite. Like, even though he was not my real dad, he never treated me any different. I'm a Vasquez because of him. I was his son. I was his firstborn son. He didn't give a shit that I was not his blood. I was his son. And I was the one that was always there for him when he got sick. I'm the one that stayed behind. I didn't go with my mom. I stayed with him and took care of him. And so while she's saying, oh, I see this, I feel this, I smell this, I'm like, well, what the fuck? What about me? Like, what the fuck? So one night I lay down, I roll over, and at the time, is, you know, this is back when I was married. She's laying down in bed and she's got one hand under her and the other hand's at her side. And I roll over, I put my arm over her. And as soon as I put my arm over her, I feel a hand go into my hand like this. And it felt like it lasted longer than what it actually did, because it was a split second, but I felt roughness. I felt my dad's hands. Like, I know what the hell my dad's hands feel like. And I fucking sat up and I looked over hoping to see him there. There was nothing there. And so I look over at the ex and she still got one arm here and one arm at her side. And so like I pushed her and I'm like, hey, wake up. Dad was just here. And from that point on, that's what really made me want to do this, was because I know there's something out there. I know that my dad held my hand that day. I know I was not asleep. I had just closed my eyes. I had not drifted off. Nothing. I literally rolled over, put my arm, felt the hand, jumped up. And so I know that there's something out there. I've seen things growing up. Even now that we go looking for it, we've seen things we can't explain. We've heard things we can't explain, you know, and so it just drives me. Granted, you know, I get freaked out, whatever. I'm not one to go off into a fucking dark room by myself, whatever. That's fine. But I still go and I still investigate, and I still love doing this shit. And I love doing it with my, you know, being able to investigate with my bros, and we just go and we just do the damn thing every single time. And so for me, that's what got me into wanting to do this shit seriously. And I thought my grandma would be against it, because my grandma's, you know, very against this kind of thing, but she knows why I do it. So she supports me. And that's the biggest thing for me. You know, as long as I have grandma's support, fuck everything else.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's it for me, really. I don't see any other questions regarding paranormal stuff, but if you guys have any questions for us, put them in the chat right now. We'll answer them for you as quickly as we can. But I mean, I know I'm excited for this weekend's investigation. I did invite Ben to go. I assumed the answers are no.
We'll talk after this.
Nah, the answers are no, you bitch.
We'll
I told you. So Mike wants to know, why is Joe so dreamy? Joe, would you like to take this one?
I mean, you know, I wake up every morning. I piss excellence. It's just, you know, it's God given. I mean,
I have energy drink up my fucking nose right now.
No, that's Joe's piss.
Brody, no, you did not. You did not tell me about your experience. But if you want, are you available to jump in on the show right now?
do it.
If you're available to jump in, I mean, you should have the link. If not, I'll send it to you if you want to talk about it, because I'd love to have you on.
Real quick, when both my grandparents died, especially my grandma, I do remember them coming to me in dreams and saying bye.
Oh, dude, my grandpa came to me in a dream. I mean, me and my grandpa were like this. The way I was with my dad, that's how close I was to my grandpa. My grandpa was my best friend until he passed away when I was 13. And he came to me in a dream. You know what I mean? And I remember, and I haven't dreamt of my grandpa in a long time. Actually, since my dad passed away, I really haven't had any dreams about my grandpa. Yeah, send me a video. I'll fucking play it, man. I'll play it right now. We still got some time to go. But yeah, so like I do remember, like, and a lot of the dreams were us just sitting there in my grandma's kitchen and us talking about things that are occurring at this time. Now, could it just be a dream, or could it just, yeah, probably, more than likely, but I still feel like maybe he visited me in my dream.
Oh, and Brody, if you're gonna send a video, let us hear your best American accent. I gotta hear it. I don't know.
Oh, god damn. So what has been, because we don't really have any questions in the chat right now, but what has been the most, I don't want to say horrifying, but what is to date, being in Dark Side Paranormal, what is your biggest piece of evidence that you have that you cannot explain?
Piece of evidence on film or just personal experience while we've been investigating?
Well, let's do on film first, and then we'll talk about
on film. I think it was the first time that we were at Yorktown Memorial Hospital, and we were upstairs, and on film, right when the ghost tube said Lady of the Night, I had a small apparition light come out of the wall and just go right past me. It wasn't a bug, like it literally manifested out of the wall. It was probably, in retrospect, about that big, and it came out of the wall and just went right past me. And I could not explain that. I mean, there's no electricity, no light up there. It was just a light, and my camera was steady, and it just came out and went around like this. And I was like, what? And I didn't notice it at the time. It was when I was reviewing the footage. That I was
so
like,
you didn't feel nothing?
No, but at the same time, we got a response on either the spirit box or ghost tube or something. And right as it said Lady of the Night, that thing came out of the wall. Just, it was crazy. It was nice.
So Ricardo said, Ricardo told me this one story where he and my cousin were driving home after a night of drinking at one of our bars, or he wasn't drinking. I think my cousin was. And he was driving, and out the corner of his eye, or not even out the corner of his eye, he saw this baby. What he said was a baby on the side of the street. And as they're driving past it, it turned into a fucking dog. And so he looks over at my cousin, and my cousin was like, yeah, I saw that. So they both saw this thing driving in Annabelle. And I mean, I lived in the area, so I've never heard of anything like that. But I mean, that was an interesting thing. Yeah.
Can I speak to something similar?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, when I was in the Army, I was stationed at Fort Hood, right? Fort Hood is about a 4.5 hour drive to Corpus. I was driving home one Friday. I was going to stay for the weekend, and it was really, really foggy that day. Like, as I'm driving in, I left about 4 o'clock. So by the time I got home, I was like, 10:30, 11, depending if I had to stop for gas or piss break or whatever. I just remember coming in. It's about 10:30, and the fog was so thick that I was driving like 55 miles an hour, just to play it safe. Well, all of a sudden, something on the side of my eye just moves and catches my attention. I look, and there's a dog running alongside the car. But as I'm looking at it, this dog is going 55 miles an hour because that's what I had the cruise control set at. But then I look at the dog and I noticed that I could see the dog's ribs, like the skin was gone. Like I could see muscle and intestines and all this stuff,
what the fuck?
Hanging out of the dog, and all this. And I'm just like, am I seeing a zombie dog right now running alongside this car?
Like in Resident Evil?
Yeah, and I'm just kind of looking, and I'm like, "Am I asleep right now?" And I'm pinching myself on my legs to see if I'm asleep or not. And I'm fully awake. I feel everything. I was like, "This cannot be freaking real." This is out by, um, where when you're coming from San Antonio, right before you get to those rest stops.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, okay, so
Oh
it's like
yeah, yeah.
it's maybe about 10 miles back, north.
Mm-hmm.
So it is around that area where there's a bunch of hills. Like I said, all the fog just kind of funnels into the little valleys that we have there. And I'm just looking, and I see this bridge for the overpass past me, and then got dark for a second, and then when I looked again, the dog was gone. But that was the freakiest freaking thing I ever saw, and I had no way to explain that.
Tell him Large
Yeah,
Marge
yeah.
sent you. No,
That's
so
one
my
of those
grandma.
Resident Evil dogs.
Yeah, fuck yeah. So my grandma, okay, so and this is so cool. Like I said, I fucking love my grandma so much. And I love that she's so interested in all the shit that we do when we go on our ghost hunts. And she's never met you guys, but she knows you guys by name. And so she was when we went to Falfurrias for Mother's Day, and I took her to go visit her mom's grave. My cousin did it the day before, took her, but I took her again on because I wanted to go see my dad. So I went to my dad's grave also, and she's telling me about some of the ghost stories and stuff from when she lived in Fal. And she was telling me that there was at the stop sign coming from Fremont into Falfurrias, that there is a woman who will jump in the back of your truck or the backseat of your car. And this is like a well-known legend in that area because my buddy Fred's from there, and he told me about this also. I'm like, dude, I know about that. My grandma told me about that a long time ago, but she told me again this time. She's like, you guys should go check it out. See if you can get her to actually manifest and catch her on film of her jumping in the back. She was saying that one of my cousins was, or one of my older cousins, one of her cousins, he was a truck driver, and he was driving through there to get back home, and he heard a noise. And so he looked in the back, and he saw a woman just sitting on the back of the car. And so he starts freaking out, and he's like trying to like shake her off, and she's not moving. Like she's going with the flow. And so he pulled over, and when he pulled over to turn around, she was gone. So then another time, my dad was a swamper in I don't remember the name of the company, Texas Drilling or some shit like that, or Padre Drilling was the company he worked for. And he and another guy were coming back from Falfurrias and had to drive through that stretch of road. And he said they heard a noise, and they turned the light on in the back of the truck, and they saw somebody sitting on the back of the trailer. And so the guy was gonna pull over, and my dad was like, nope, fuck it, just go. He's like, she'll disappear. Like, there's no need for you to stop. So because my dad, of course, knew that legend, that tale. So, but there's a lot of crazy shit in Fal that I would love to investigate. I get nervous the closer that we would get to the border, only because of crazy cartel and shit like that. So it's just the farther north we go, the better for me. I just don't want us to get in a fucked up situation.
Listening, much respect to the cartel.
Yeah, much respect to you guys.
We don't want to get in the way, is what it is.
We don't want to get in the way. We just want to investigate our paranormal stuff. You guys are more than welcome to join us. We'll blur out your faces,
Ricardo said, let's do a Mexico investigation. Ricardo, Joe, I am down. What?
Tell him what I said.
No, I am down. Scuba doesn't want to go to Mexico because everything in Mexico is real.
Yep.
And he refuses. He's scared. Maybe Mel could take your spot, and we'll go to Mexico.
Wow.
She ain't scared. She ain't scared.
First of all, I never said I was scared. I just said Mexico is legit territory when you go, because majority of the things that you see on Mexican television is legit. I grew up watching the fucking Spanish channel, and they show some of the scariest fucking shit that you've ever seen. And it's just so crazy. And like, well, dude, I would love to investigate the Island of the Dolls. Like, that is one place, bro. If we could ever go, I'm fucking down. Like, I'm down to go there. But like I said, one of my other fears is the cartel, the crazy shit. You really can't go roaming around Mexico because it's not safe.
You don't know who owns what land and
exactly
what they're doing out there.
Well, while you all investigate that, I'll investigate the Mexican weather girl.
Oh, that's a whole.
I think that's a two-man job.
Oh, Damn. So Brody's sending me his video right now. So as soon as I have it downloaded, as soon as he sends it to me and I have it downloaded, I'll play that video for you guys.
Oh, and Scoob, I don't know if you saw it in the chat a day or two ago about the income tax investigation I want to try to do.
I did see that. So let the guys know. Now, there's no guarantee that next year I will get an income tax because I didn't get one this year, but I can save up and we can make it happen.
Yeah, what I want to do around income tax, because it's going to be a pretty penny, the Missouri State Prison or Missouri State Penitentiary. It's been abandoned since I think the 80s. Little backstory, my grandfather, he died before I was born, but he worked there as a prison guard. And the nickname that they gave it, that penitentiary, was the bloodiest 47 acres in America. And it's just riddled with, I mean, it was on a Travel Channel the other day. The TAPS crew investigated it recently, and the activity there, and that's one place my dad said he would actually love to go on with us. They live about 40 minutes away from it. So, I mean, we got a place to stay. My dad wants us to investigate his house too while we're there.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
And my suggestion is doing like a 2-night investigation, but it's going to run us $3,000. It's $1,500 a night. So that's why I was thinking income tax investigation.
Well, it could be a great income tax investigation, or we can start a GoFundMe or do some kind of crowdfunding thing. And
we could team up with the Recycled Corn podcast and do some plates. And we can do a live broadcast while we're selling these plates. And
hell yeah.
Questions live.
I mean, there's tons of things. Or if somebody wants to sponsor us, we're always looking for sponsors for Dark Side Paranormal and Somewhat Supernatural. I know we did. We finally got a fucking sponsor, a private sponsor that's going to sponsor our return trip to, drumroll please. We are going back to Yorktown Memorial Hospital, and this time it's not going to be cold, and we're not going to freeze to death. And I'm excited for that. So we will be going back to Yorktown.
Do we have any dates picked
I don't
out,
think we have a date for that one yet. I think Danny and Mike were working that out. That way, because we have to work around Mike's schedule. So whatever they work out.
Yeah.
So my buddy Danny, he's gonna sponsor this investigation, and his one stipulation was that he wants to go with us, which is fine. And that's the thing. If you guys want to sponsor an investigation, wherever it is, we'll take you with us. Just pay for it. We'll, I mean, hell, if we have to pitch in, we'll pitch in. That's fine. You pay the majority of it, whatever. But
half at least.
Yeah. And then,
49. I mean,
yeah, there you go. And then we'll split that 49 3 ways.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
40, I'll pay the 9.
What was that other place that you were talking to us about today in the chat, Joe?
Oh, the Donna Ana Courthouse in Las Cruces, Mexico. Las Cruces, Mexico.
New Mexico, baby.
I spoke to the guy. He said they do. They normally don't have people stay the night, but they do offer, extended hour packages for paranormal teams coming from out of town. Ghost Adventures just went there, and some Paranormal Files, I think, did also.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's 3 stories. It's a big place. I think that the second and third story, or maybe just the third story, was like the jail upstairs. So I mean, they got shadow people there, known to scratch people, follow people home. The good stuff that we like.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a spot on my back that I just can't reach.
You're right. But no, the guy seemed really cool. I told him, we're out of South Texas. I even told him, Dark Side Paranormal. He's like, man, that sounds so familiar. I think I've heard of you guys. And I was like, well, that's badass.
That'd be fucking cool.
Yeah, he said just, figure out what you guys want to do, when you guys want to come, and, give him a call back and see what we can get done. So
all right. So as promised, ladies and gentlemen, Brody was going to tell us what happened to him on set, something paranormal. So let's check it out.
Well, howdy fucking doody there, gentlemen. It's good to see you. It's good to hear from you. I hope you're keeping well. To quickly talk about my little paranormal experience on this TV series I was working on. So we had to shoot a few scenes in this old homestead out in the middle of the desert. Very beautiful old homestead, might I add. And it's been around since the 1800s. Anyway, my job was to help some of the crew as well this day, just to remove some of the antique equipment and furniture out because we're bringing in our own stuff. And I got talking to the owner, and I heard about all these rumors, and I said to her, "Is it haunted?" She said, "Yes, it is. My grandkids' toys will light up in the middle of the night. I'll hear a woman crying." Yeah, so it's basically haunted by a woman that used to live there. And I said to her, "Is there like a particular spot where, she's more so located?" Her husband's office, because she's still waiting for her husband to come back from the war. Anyway, she's like, yeah, she's not really a big fan of like men and or something like that. Anyway, I was like, oh yeah, fucking whatever. So me being me, of course, had to cause a shit show and go down there and start taking photos in the fucking office where she is. Anyway, that's all fine and fucking dandy. And anyway, the more I got talking to the lady about it and all that, next minute I felt this fucking whack across my ear. I was like, holy fuck. I had to stop mid-conversation. It hurt like a son of a bitch. Anyway, she's like, you right? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I can't fucking hear out of my ear. It felt like someone's just like either whacked me or just gone poke. And I was like, holy fuck, like that actually hurt. Anyway, she's like, did you just go down to that office before? And I'm like, yeah, I did actually. And she's like, what'd you do in there? I said, took photo. And she's like, just shook her head at me. She knew that it was the lady just going like, you fucking idiot. Like, just give me a backhander across the fucking ear. Live and learn, hey? But not only that, I was driving home and I was looking at my ear and it was red on top, but you could sort of see 3 lines that went down the back.
Oh, shit.
I don't know, about that much. So it sort of was like 3 fingers. So it's like she's just gone fucking bang. Yeah, so I have not been back to that place, but I would definitely go back just to cause another shit show. But that's just me. And I always learn the fucking hard way. But anywho, that's my little story for y'all. And I hope you're enjoying your night or evening, wherever the fuck it is you're from. And I'll catch you in the chat.
Yeah, buddy. That was Brody Kane right there. Yeah, man. So I would love to investigate somewhere in Australia.
You know, I wish I had that freaking accent, man. That's just so cool.
Yeah, he's fucking sexy. Oh, sexy ass.
Mate, you come down here to Texas, man. I tell you, you're gonna be getting poo in all sorts of places.
Brody's like, that's the worst accent I've ever heard. But no, but yeah, that's fucking interesting as shit, you know. And I know I've been physically attacked. I know Mike's been physically attacked.
I was emotionally attacked.
That's a whole different podcast. Hey, you haven't been physically attacked yet, Joe, have you?
I've been touched on like the foot. My butt's been grabbed or tapped, but I've never been scratched. I've been affected, but not.
Yeah, so you got oppressed last time at the.
He did get oppressed. Definitely got oppressed, and that right there too was one of the scariest things for me because like I've known Joe for fucking years. I've known Joe, and I've never, and I still stand by this to this day, I've never seen him react like that before.
Yeah.
And he was just like
he wasn't antagonizing the spirits or anything, you know, that would cause such a thing to happen. Oh, wait.
Well, guys,
8-year-old boy.
Oh yeah, fucking poor little Jacob. Fucking
sorry, Jacob.
Well, fellas, we are at the 1 hour 30 mark, so I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap this show up. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us. Joe, do you have anything you want to say before we hand it off to Ben?
Just looking forward to a good investigation. Happy to show you guys the footage once we get it. God bless.
Ben?
Of course, I'm just going to cross promote. So
go for it.
I am at Ben De Leon on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I am Ben De Leon 3 on TikTok. And everybody who's already seen or heard my podcast, you know my spiel. I don't need to repeat myself, but you know what? I will just for this podcast. It's like I don't need your pity follows. Just follow my podcast page. Like and subscribe and do all the things. Um, if you want, you can Google the Recycle Corn Podcast and look for the logo. It's a big corn with a microphone on the black background. It's really that easy to find me. And while you're there, drop me a message. Let me know what kind of content you'd like to hear from. Me and Scuba and sometimes Pedro. Um, what kind of stuff we're talking? We're working on an episode of love, of relationship advice. It's
but
going
we're giving horrible relationship advice.
So, Joe, if you would like to learn something, or if you would like to teach something,
maybe Joe could be our voice of reason.
I could be. I could do that for you.
So we could probably do that. We could.
Yeah. So if you're down to join us this Wednesday at Ben's place for the Recycle Corn Podcast, we'd love to have you.
Give me the time and I'll be there.
All
yeah,
right,
buddy.
We'll let you know. And you can find me on Spotify if you want to listen to past episodes of the Recycle Corn Podcast. I appreciate you giving me the time and your platform to shamelessly self-promote. And it's been fun. I learned a lot. I laughed a lot. I stared in Joe's good and gorgeous eyes a lot. So, I mean, how could you not? And sorry about the butt grabbing thing.
I knew that hand felt familiar.
But yeah, man, thanks.
All right. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I am your host with the ghost, the prince of the paranormal, the duke of the dead, the ghost daddy, the cryptid keeper, and now the sinister minister, Lord Scuba Cabra, saying, I will see you next time on the 13th episode of Somewhat Supernatural for season 2. And till then, follow the page. You guys can find me on Twitch at Lord_Scuba Cabra. Same thing for TikTok. You can find me on Facebook at Lord Steven Scuba Steve Vasquez. And on Instagram, I am at Host with the Ghosts. Love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Give me a listen on Spotify. Every single episode is up. You want to watch the live videos, you can watch them on YouTube, on the Project Louder YouTube. Love you guys. I will see you guys later. And remember, cereal is just cold soup.